Who are you? Let me see what you're about.
Who are you trying to go? Who is your audience?
What about you? What's prevented you from doing it so far?
I started as a hobby, as a side gig for 3 years.
I won't take a paid podcast anymore. I want to be someone.
Who edits your videos?
Most of the drone footage sucks.
Now is the best part of this interview.
Just be you. 50% of people won't like you anyway. I had no idea how I was going to monetize it.
Content is king. Video content is king of all content. Today I have a very special treat for you. If you've been sitting on the edge and you're not sure if you should have a YouTube channel, if you should start producing content on a regular basis, let me tell you, it's never too late. My guest today is Carr. He started his YouTube journey just over a year ago. He already have 5,000 subscribers on YouTube as the time of this video, of this interview, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna go up because he's trending. He produces high quality content and people are hungry for that. Like never before, we have huge need for good quality content. There's a lot of noise, but every day we wake up, we'll look at our phones and we want to watch something, learn something, entertain ourselves, or just fill the gap. This is how we consume information, and video by all analytics is trending, and this is consumer behavior 101. We're gonna be watching more videos. And myself and Roofing Insights wanna help you on the journey. For those of you who didn't know, we do manage YouTube channels. We do it through our roofing school. We help our students with ideas, with management, and we literally will edit your videos for you. Many people don't know about it because we don't advertise. We have plenty of clients, but we can take few more. Now, let Carr explain to you why video is crucial for your business in 2022. Let's go. I want to start with the last job that you have.
Yeah.
How did you make the switch? Why did you decide to go on this journey?
I'll be quick about it. About 3 years ago, I started with a company called Greenlight. We were doing collections for blue collar industries across the board, not just roofing contractors. But what we saw is that every roofing contractor had the same problem that was doing insurance. They couldn't get their money. Whether it be chasing down a supplement check or chasing down depreciation, they were having problems getting paid. So we said, or we, the top brass there, said, instead of going and collecting this, why don't we go ahead and we fund the insurance claim, and then we'll chase our own money from the insurance company. And it was called My Claims Care. And I think the idea itself was brilliant. It was a wonderful idea. Basically, you're turning insurance into cash. And for about a year, I sold the heck out of that product. And it was March of 2021, a couple contractors started coming to me and they said, hey, Patrick, you know what? We're owed that RCV and we ain't been paid it. And I said, oh, shoot, okay. Well, one became two, became three, and it wasn't clerical errors anymore. There was a problem. And when I went to the company, I said, guys, we got to pay these contractors. They said, hey, Patrick, basically, we're going to get to it. We're working on it, all this different stuff.
So the company was collecting money from insurance, but not paying contractors?
Correct. So what they were doing is they were taking an ACV and they were taking the initial ACV check. And they needed me to go out there and bring on new clients because that meant that the ACV checks would come in and they could pay back those old clients that were at the very back while they waited on depreciation for these clients right here. So as long as I brought on new clients, you could keep the people in the back happy enough to not complain and not be upset. But that's not you're no better than the insurance carrier at that point. And so I quit on the spot on a Wednesday afternoon and had no idea what I was going to do. I've told this story before, $50,000 in credit card debt, had my head, put it in my hands and said, I don't know what's gonna happen now. And at that point, the next day I started Blue Collar Media Group. I thought that, well, I had grown that company on the back of doing some stuff on social media. Maybe some of the clients that I use right now will want to hire me. And they did. And I was fortunate enough. Although that company didn't do things the right way, I went to every single one of those clients and explained to them why I left. No one called me, not one person, and didn't receive my call back or my attention from My Claims Care. And I was fortunate that some of those same people hired me.
Wow.
And so I hired, when the first one did hire me, I didn't even have a camera. I was doing everything from my phone. I'd had a videographer that I was working with the previous company that luckily had become a friend of mine. And he said, I know you can't afford me, Patrick, for a couple of months, man, but I'll go out there with you I'll stick by you through this and see what you can do. And thanks to him, shout out to Kenny for giving me the help to get there. We were able to kind of start generating content for roofing contractors across the board over the next year.
Well, now is the best part of this interview. Let's talk about content. You went from working in the corporate world companies to become a content creator. Tell me about the journey. Tell me about the struggles, how hard it was. Like, how hard is it to become it? Because I started as a hobby, as a side gig for 3 years. I did not monetize. I didn't make $1 of Roofing Insights channel for 3 years. I paid videographers. We went to expos. I gave it all away. You had to make money with it, and it's hard. People, if you think roofing business is hard, try to make money with the content.
It's tough. Like I said, when I started it, I had no idea how I was going to monetize it. Okay, I can create content. Good for you, bro. What are you going to do for me? How is this going to help my business? And so I thought to myself, okay, I can't tell you how to run an SEO campaign or an ad campaign on Facebook or anything like that. But I think I can help you create content that people want to engage with. I think that's what I can do. Mm-hmm. So what I thought is, man.
You think, or you have a proven strategy, method, or?
At that time, I just thought it. I wanted to put, I was just thinking, how do I get my rent paid at that point? So let me just see what I can do. And I went to these companies, and I'll tell you how hard it was and the screw ups I had. I went to these companies and I said, guys, I think I can help you. I can't make promises, but I think, and well, can you do what you did for that company? Yeah, I can do that. Good, let's try that. And I went out there, and boy, did I ever fail. I did stuff like going on top of a roof, and I didn't know to listen to the sound. And then the wind crushed it, and had no sound whatsoever. I had other times where it looked great on camera, and then I had so much sunlight coming down, you couldn't even see the person. All these mistakes that I made every single one of them that you can possibly make. Give you another one. I did an interview with someone, and I had the focus of the camera on the center, and the people were on the sides. And so every time the hand would go to the middle of the screen, the thing would try to auto refocus. And I would sit there, and I would, afterwards in the interview, I was just, what am I going to do?
What did you do?
That's a good point. Every time you mess up, it's not the screw up that'll kill you, it's the cover up. When you screw up, whether it be with content or roofing, say you screwed up. I just messed up, man. And that's what I told these guys. I remember one contractor down in the southwest part of Florida, storm team, great people, okay? My videographer at that time put out some content, and they were not happy with it at all. And the guy called me and goes, what's going on here, Pat? This isn't what you promised us. And took me 3 weeks to fix all of it, to go back myself and get it all right. We're talking 36 videos at this time. And we did it. And I'm happy, and they're happy. And, but if I just would have been that guy who said, what are you talking about? This stuff is good. I think this is great content. Then I would have lost somebody for a long time. I knew it wasn't good. He was right when he called me out.
Why did you pick this niche? Like when you went on, and what's your niche?
Yeah.
Who are you trying to go? Who is your audience?
So my audience, first I picked this niche because I was doing collections originally for contractors. And so I understood the contracting game because I saw the worst of the worst. The files that needed to go to collections is how I started in the blue collar world. So whether it be electricians or roofing, restoration, anybody who had done a job and not been paid for it, I had gotten that file originally or eventually on my desk to call that person. So you had to learn a little bit of the ins and outs. Why did that person choose to go with that company? What went wrong on the project that could have been avoided? All those things are things you're discussing with that angry customer. And so when I thought about creating content, I said, well, let's go to something I really understand. Something that I can feel like, hey, listen, I can add value. And so blue collar is where that was. And a lot of roofing, a lot of restoration. Today, it's anybody who wants to be better. They want to generate content for their business is really what it is. I think so many business owners out there, they want to create content, but they don't know where to start. They feel like, I listened to Dmitry, I know I need to produce a YouTube channel, I know I need to make an Instagram post. And they say they're going to do it, but they don't. They'll put it off till next month. They'll put it off till the month after, and it never happens for them. So For me, it's anybody who sits there and goes, I want to start doing that. I need to start doing it. That's my kind of person.
What's your favorite social media?
Instagram.
Instagram?
I like Instagram a lot. I think now that with the reels that they have now on Instagram, it really rivals the whole TikTok thing. So I'm an Instagram fan. I think that the most underutilized one is definitely going to be your LinkedIn. I don't think enough roofing contractors are utilizing LinkedIn for commercial jobs right now. You have the decision makers, or at least someone close to the decision maker on LinkedIn. It provides great video quality and amazing ability to reach people. I think there's over 200 characteristics you can search for when you're creating an ad on LinkedIn. So the content can reach the person you want. Very good for commercial. And I don't think a lot of almost no roofing contractors are utilizing it to its full ability right now.
I love it. As you become more influential, you're probably coming up with some rules. You probably get a lot of attention yourself. What are the rules now? Who are you saying no to, and who you're trying to engage? Are you being more selective? Who you would not work with? And how often do you say no?
I say no quite a bit, probably not as much as what you do. The one rule I have that I won't take a paid podcast anymore from me without disclosing that it's paid. And the reason is I did it one time and it was awful because there were follow-up questions I wanted to ask about a product that I thought was going to put the person in a precarious situation, and they were paying me. So I kind of felt like I was putting my name behind something that I couldn't really dive into what I wanted to dive into. So no paid podcast. I'll do it with somebody. I'll sit down with them, but I need the freedom to be able to follow up with that individual with questions as I want to. The next thing, when someone calls me, I've got to look at their reviews. I look at them just like I'm a homeowner. You know, if somebody calls me from Louisiana and they say, Pat, we want to start generating content with your business. Who are you? Let me see what you're about. I'm fortunate now to where my bills are paid. So I don't have to bring on somebody new. Reputation is everything. So I got to be able to look at that.
Let's talk about content for business. I'm a firm believer that everyone is a media company, but it's also getting super crowded. How do you stand out? How do you become different? And do you believe that everyone is a media company?
I do believe everyone is a media company. They just don't realize it yet. And now is the time to get into the space. Yesterday was the time to get into the space. And you have to in today's environment because people are paying attention to what's in their hands right now, their phone. And if you're not relevant on your phone, on that app, then people aren't going to know who you are. You can be the best roofer in all the city that you work in. But unless people know what makes you different than other roofers, they're not going to buy from you. They're not going to come to you. And I believe this, that if the powerful thing about creating content is that when you do, people begin to figure out who you are as a company, your principles, values, morals, what you do differently. And when they start to research you, they go, oh, okay, this seems like somebody I want to trust and do business with. If you choose not to create content, when people go to Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and they start looking for you, and they find a before and after picture from November 2021, they go, oh, I don't know. I'm not sure if they feel comfortable with this person right now. And that could happen at any point in the sales process. It could happen when that sales rep leaves the house and they just jump onto Facebook to check out the company. It could become after they put in a request or give you a call. You could be losing business right now for your roofing company because you don't understand that people are researching you and they're not liking what they see. They're not going to leave you a comment and say, well, I was going to roll with you, but all I saw was a before and after photo, so I'm going to go with somebody else. They're just going to leave, go find somebody else, and they're not going to come back to your page. So content is so key in creating it right now. If I was going to tell somebody, it's crowded space. It's very crowded. So there's some rules that you can follow. For instance, stop introducing yourself. I can't stand this right now. I'll turn on a video. This is Patrick Carr with patrickcarr.com. We're out here at such and such a place, and You've already lost a person.
I couldn't agree more. Or start with promoting your vendors, your sponsors, 3-4 minutes in a podcast, and you didn't bring any value yet, but you told them how many podcasts you've done, what's your name, what's your website, who your sponsors are. What's there for me? People are very selfish.
Very selfish. And If you understand that and you go into any video or content that you create is, how can I add value to that person's life who's watching this right now? If you go into it with that kind of mindset, then you're going to be much more successful.
How do you convince people to start creating content?
Whew, man, that's a great point. How do you convince them to? I think that the first step is they have to be self-aware enough about why they're not creating content. And this is a problem that I see. If you're out there not creating content, the reason has nothing to do with you don't know how, or you don't have the equipment, or you're not sure how something works. It has to do with you. And so if somebody calls me and goes, hey, I think I want to work with you, my question to them is, what about you? What's prevented you from doing it so far? Because you have a phone in your hand, you know it has a camera, you've posted pictures on there before. So they have to be real with themselves. Well, I don't like the way I look. I'm afraid of judgment of others in the industry. I think that my kids are going to laugh at me. These are real things. Give content creation its due. It's hard. It's mentally a screw up for people. And if you do that, if you're self-aware enough to be able to do that, then I tell people, now we can take the next step. Now we can move forward. They've got to be real with themselves though first.
What's the hardest in this game? You're hustling, you're consistent, you are everywhere. Everywhere I go recently, you are there.
I see you all the time.
Now I feel like how people feel about me, because everywhere they go, I'm there. So you do everything. What's the hardest thing in this game? Is it travel? Is it coming up with ideas? What's the hardest?
It's just creating content on a consistent basis, man. There are some times where, like, sometimes I don't want to put out another podcast or do another video for a couple of days. I want to take a break from it. It's a job. It is a full-time job.
Why not take a break?
Because people, as you said a little minute, it's what can you do for me now? Or what have you done for me lately is a better way, I guess I could say it. I think that the attention span that individuals gives you goes so quick. And when you have someone's attention, when they're following you, when they're giving you their time, their energy, their interest in what you're doing, that is only there for a moment. And if you don't give them value consistently, they're going to go find that value somewhere else. And so there's a lot of pressure on me. I feel like and you feel it a lot more, I'm sure, but I feel there's a lot of pressure to continue to bring value to people. And if I don't, I'm afraid, gosh, I guess afraid's the right word. Afraid they're going to go find that value somewhere else. And I want to be there. I want to continue to add that value to people's life.
There's only one thing I want to add here. First, you're right. I always explain the McDonald's example. McDonald's is at every corner in the United States, right? But McDonald's advertises in every radio station, every TV, but they are never, like, why do they advertise? They're everywhere. Everyone knows what McDonald's is. Why do they advertise? You know why?
The only thing I think of is front of mind.
Because people will forget about you.
Yeah, front of mind. So
You're going to become Waffle House if you don't.
Mm-hmm.
What's your core values? If you have written them anywhere, or if you thought about it?
Yeah. I want to be someone that when someone thinks about Patrick Carr, they think that guy does exactly what he says he's going to do. I never want someone to look at me and say, that guy overpromises, underdelivers. I want people to look at me and go, yeah, when I hear something from him, I can count on it. I know it's going to get done. That to me is the biggest core value. Everything else falls in place when you just follow your own word and you keep your own promises. And so that's been when I started this company, what I said I was going to do. I wasn't going to overpromise people. I wasn't going to tell them I could do things that I couldn't do. I was going to step in there and try to represent them the best way that I could.
If contractor gives discount for a yard sign towards deductible, is it a right or wrong thing to do?
It's a wrong thing to do.
It's a wrong thing.
And I work with a lot of contractors, as I know you work with more than I do. The law is pretty clear in the state of Florida. It's not pretty clear, it's crystal clear. You owe your deductible. And I think that the game of trying to get around it, where you do a $500 marketing cost or rebate, let's put it that way, over to the customer, is a game you don't want to play. We're talking about a $30,000 roof for $500. If you can't sell that as a sales rep, then you need to go start taking some training in sales. It's a great value already. You don't need to throw something back out there. Build the value on what you're offering as a contractor, not on the fact that you're giving some kind of rebate for a yard sign.
And do you see laws getting tougher and tougher around deductibles, them cracking up, and talk about that in Florida?
Yeah, so we've got a special session coming up in Florida on May the 23rd through the 25th. And that special session is because we have carriers that are leaving the state and some that are continuing to threaten to leave the states. And we've seen premiums double in some cases around here within the past year. And what they're going to begin doing to help curb this is enforcing the laws that we have on the books. That is what we're hearing. And laws such as pay your deductible if you are a homeowner. They don't want to see things that are going to be waived. And so that is where I think this thing is going. I think you're going to see stricter laws surrounding deductibles, including losing your license. I believe that's going to be a big focus in this special session come the 23rd is you're going to follow the laws or else we're going to start not going after civil penalties. We're going to start looking at, hey, listen, are you going to use your license as a contractor?
Haight versus Best Damn Roofer. Your prediction, what do you think about the fight?
Well, I think that the Best Damn Roofer is going to be on top of his game. He's going to be good. He's going to be probably drunk. And when you're drunk, man, have you ever seen a drunk guy fight? I mean, he don't feel a lot. So I think Lee being sober, stepping in there, and having to fight a drunk guy like that, I mean, I think he's got his. If the guy smokes a little bit, maybe does a little bit of.
Lee will be sober?
That's a good question. It's his conference. He can do what he wants to do at that one. But Best Damn Roofer, man, I'll tell you what, that guy's going to be a battle for anybody. There's lots of love, as I call him, man. He's going to have him flowing, and I think it's going to be a great fight. So
It's going to be a good show.
It'll be a good show. That's what I expect it to be.
Do you think it's a show or it's a real fight?
It is show. It is all show, everybody. But that's a good point. It's a good question because a lot of this is show. I think this is so important for people to understand out there when you're creating content. Don't be a perfectionist. I'm a content guy. I love creating content with roofing contractors. So much of what you see online is show. And those guys out there that you think are doing it off the cuff, behind the scenes, they're getting a team of people that are feeding them the questions and the answers and making it look good for them. And I don't think there's a problem with it as long as you realize it's all show. And you don't have to follow that model. If you're not a funny person, don't try to be funny. If you're not an entertaining individual, but you're serious and you're analytical, be that person. People appreciate that if that's who you are. I always call it being at your frequency when you're creating content. Where I'm at my best is when I'm a little loud like this. I'm a little bit intense with that. And that's too much for some people.
Intimidating.
Somewhat. But I think that for me, I think well at this level. And I think where people get in trouble is they got to try to be something that they're not. And I'll give Lee some credit on this. Whether you like the guy or you don't like the guy, at least every time you see one of his videos,
he's real.
He's real. And I can appreciate that because it isn't easy to be real and then get people to hate on you. Even worse than that, as I tell people though, is not to be real and have people hate on you. 50% of people aren't going to like you no matter what video you create, no matter if it's the best piece of work ever. Would you rather than not like you for being really who you are or the fake you? Because I just think to myself, if you had to go to a meeting and somebody's going to, man, I was going to buy from this guy, but I saw his Instagram. Ugh, I'm not a big fan. And then you think to yourself, that's not even me. I was just trying to be Dmitry. I was trying to be like Lee. I was trying to be like one of these guys in the industry. And you lost business or potential opportunity and you weren't even being yourself. So just be you. 50% of people won't like you anyway.
Would you say that your core values help you to quit your last job?
100%. I quit that job knowing that I could not continue to sell a product that I didn't believe in. If we're not going to pay people on time when the contract said, that I can't stand behind that. When I quit that job, I went out of my way to tell everyone that was working with me what had happened, why I was quitting, what I was doing. If I didn't have the core values, I just would have stuck in there. But I couldn't look at myself like that. That would have been a bad place to be in. I can tell you that. It was a bad place to be in when I quit because people had looked at me as the face of that company. I was the one selling it. And the people in the ivory tower, they didn't even know. They'd never seen him before. People thought it was my company. I mean, they were like, oh, it's you, Patrick. Mm-hmm. And that was very, very difficult. But I feel very confident knowing that every single person I spoke with and helped to the best of my ability following quitting.
If you're the sales rep, how do you spot a bad company? Because you work for someone, you trusted them, what are the red flags that you can see? Because it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Contractors cheat. Like so many don't pay bills. Where do you, like help someone who's watching maybe how to question their boss, because oftentimes we are lied to, and sometimes salespeople close their eyes and look other way when they, you've seen something you weren't okay with, but many people don't see it, or they see it and they don't do anything about it. That's why so many bankruptcies happening. That's why so many companies go belly up.
Yeah.
And it doesn't happen overnight.
Happens all the time. And the best piece of advice I can give somebody, especially whether you're a veteran or you're a new person entering into the roofing game, look at how the company trains you. That's going to tell you everything you need to know if they're invested in your success or not. If you're new to the game and they're going to throw you through a 2-day training, give you some keys to a truck and say, go get him, kid, out there, you're going to fail. You're being set up to not be successful. But if you have a company that takes a vested interest in you, explains what the principles, values, and morals that guide that company, they're going to show you how the process works, let you see the process with people that have already been successful. They're going to put you into training like you do with like roofing insights. They're going to put you through an actual training course so that you understand the components of a roof and what it entails. You might have a chance. So what I tell people is, if you're just beginning that journey of roofing, really look at how that person is going to invest in you. Are you just going to be another mill for them? Are they just running through people? And then once you sell a few roofs, they'll get rid of you so they don't have to pay commissions? Because that happens in this industry. So really look at if you're going to invest your time, make sure they're investing that time in you as well.
Love it. Really quick, I have
Sure.
a couple quick questions. I just want you to answer as fast as possible.
Let's do it.
Give advice to the business owner who doesn't have YouTube channel yet.
Get a YouTube channel, put up 2 or 3 videos. No one's going to watch them anyway, but you'll feel better once you put them out there, and you'll want to get better at the craft. Put 2 or 3 out there though. Get it going. Just start. That's my best piece of advice.
What are roofers or contractors are posting right now on a regular basis that they should stop?
Before and after drone footage. Here's my thing about before and after drone footage. Most of the drone footage sucks. And so if you're going to do it right. Get a good camera. Get something that really shows the quality of the shingle and the roof that you're using. Don't just go to Walmart and pick up your $200 drone, go fly that thing and think that you're really showing quality of the roofs. This is what I don't like about the before and after. Do it the right way.
Love it. Give me advice.
You?
Yeah.
Don't change who you are. And everybody who's watching this channel who follows Dmitry Lipinskiy knows this. The reason they follow you is because they believe that they are going to receive the uncut, unfiltered version of the story that's at hand. And the best piece of advice I could give to you is that I believe is who you are at your core, and that you can't lose that because it is so real and so rare and so unique that somebody doesn't get bought out at this point in your career. And I know you won't do that, but that's my advice, is because people appreciate and they love that about you.
Who edits your videos?
Me.
You do everything?
So here's my idea. We talked about promises earlier. I made a promise to myself that any videos that I do, I edit. And the reason is because my clients, I'm not a $50 million company right now. I do my work. I'm building my way up here, okay? And my time for people that edit that I pay for needs to be spent on the clients that need that. And if I'm out there editing my own videos and doing my own stuff, and that's time that could be spent on my client's stuff right there. So I edit all of my own videos right there. And I edit some of my clients' videos, and some of it goes outsourced to some editors that are out there as well.
Favorite movie of all times?
Top Gun.
Top Gun?
Top Gun. We got Top Gun 2 coming out, Maverick. We got Goose. Been waiting for this or Goose's son. Been waiting for this for a long time. I'm going to be there in the jumpsuit and everything. I mean, I can't wait.
I want to be a little bit selfish, and I want to hear your testimony about Roofing Insights retreat. You went on a retreat, this big guy. So here's what happened. We went on the bus, got in a resort in beautiful Duluth, Minnesota. Within 30 minutes, this guy is next to me in a sauna. And then 1 hour in, we're jumping in the ice cold water. How was the experience? Share it.
Well, I'm trying to catch my breath. I'm thinking back to jumping in ice cold water. It really takes the breath out of you and everything. But the experience itself was absolutely an incredible time, because it wasn't just. I don't think we talked roofing any more than like 10 minutes there in 3 days or 2.5 days. But you had a lot of great people, man, like couples and, entrepreneurs. And there's something so real, man, about being in a sauna and, being in a cold plunge and you're talking to people about how their life is and it's real stuff, That to me, that doesn't get enough. You go to these conferences and it's always, there's a speaker, there's an agenda, there's something you got to speak about, there's a class that you need to attend because you want to learn something. But you sit some people around and you're having a beer inside of a sauna and everyone's just kind of enjoying themselves and you're talking about life. There's something that's very refreshing about that.
My favorite part is for those who wants to know about the retreat is we took a bus from Minneapolis to the place. It's 2.5 hour ride. I have not been on a bus for 15 years. That was the coolest thing. You sit in the bus with 40 adults essentially, business owners and stuff, no agenda, and then we have a school bus picking us, going to the parks and someone came to me and was like, why do you do it? Where did you learn to do it? And I'm a teacher, so I've organized camps, kids and stuff. So for me, it's normal. And it's like, this is so well organized. It's not organized. We have 2 buses picking us up and going places. But for people, it's nice when someone's driving you with a group of guys. We're adults, but we're always going to be kids. It was awesome.
It was so much fun. I mean, and it was good fun, you know what I mean? It wasn't like, there was no agenda for what we needed to do or accomplish. It was dinner, it was fellowship, it was talking life. It's needed. And I like what you said when you were there, and maybe people don't know this, but you had pointed out in the beginning on the first day, there were a lot of couples there running companies. Mm-hmm. And as men normally running these roofing companies, there are a lot of women that are running them too, behind the scenes that maybe you don't see. And it's so important that as a couple, the ladies were talking, okay, this is what's going on in our company. This is how we're balancing this. There was a talk between couples I saw there. That's a powerful thing that doesn't get discussed enough.
And I think when wives behind their husbands meet each other and go through the same thing, those are become friends, and I think it's amazing. The last question I have, it's not a question, is I'm going to ask you to give advice to a business owner who suck at content. You're great at it. Many people say, I suck, I don't like to be on camera, I don't like to be popular, I'm not about YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. What do you tell them?
Yeah, I would tell them this, that truly the reason you're probably not creating content is because you're worried about the judgment of others within the industry right now. You're not worried about anything else. You don't want to jump onto a message board and receive a negative comment that's out there. And so I would look at it this way. I look at the Kobe Bryant and Prince example, everybody, if you don't remember this. Kobe Bryant was the best in the world at what he did. Prince, the best in the world at what he did. When they died, how much time did people give them? A day on ABC News? ESPN gave Kobe Bryant maybe that. How much time do you think someone's going to give your video on Instagram for 15 seconds? Not a lot. We tend to overestimate our importance and what people believe about us, and that paralyzes us from ever creating content, thinking that it's going to be so much, people are going to care so much, it's going to go viral. It's not going to go viral. 10 people are going to like it, including your family, and you'll be off to a start of building that muscle and gaining some confidence. Just go do it.
I love it. And I will say, people, at first, they're going to hate you, and then they're going to recognize you if you stick to it. Because if you're persistent enough, they will. It's never easy. And your closest people are going to be your worst enemies. Like, I'm Russian. I was paranoid about my Russian community, like my Russian friends, like, oh, you're a YouTuber now? Because, for a Russian with accent to start the channel in English, right? And I mean, think about, we have 40, 50,000 Russians in Minnesota, like all my buddies and stuff. And how do you think they look at you? And it was important. And on top of that, I have 5 kids. They all were born here. My kids are making fun of me all the time. Remember on the bus, I went to did a little, comedy, like few remarks about the trips, and my kids like, that was the cheesiest line ever. They were ashamed of me speaking to people, thanking them and summarizing even. That's my life. Yeah. So my kids to this day laugh at me, joke, but here's what I also notice. I see other people come into our house, other kids, and my kids telling them, how many subscribers we have,
Oh, yeah.
what I do, and they say it with the price, and other kids can, hey man, how many subscribers do you have? Like they were friends. I'm like, 50,000. Oh, it's cool, man, dope. Like, and now you're like, oh, I guess I'm not that cheesy,
Yeah.
and like I guess I'm someone,
Yeah.
for them. No, I don't know. It just, if you stick to it, you will reap the rewards, and rewards are great.
Yes.
Give it a couple. Hard work pays off. Give it a couple years, your business will prosper, and you will see results. And this is the future.
It is the future. The future is right now, and I think you're right. Give it a couple years. People get so
Here and now.
Yeah, they get so, I want the results right now. I want to go viral. I want millions of views. Consistency is the name of the game. You mentioned earlier, so many people get into the podcast game. So many fall off within a period of a couple of months because then they realize how tough it is to continually produce content that's on a high level, and they fall off. So if you can find it in yourself to produce content consistently, you'll raise above those other people. And I'm telling you, the name recognition, you'll be front of mind. You'll gain more business.